we're there. So don't stop the conversation.
Don't
That's
stop
what we want. But I was
We're
just letting you
talking about
know.
Mickey Mouse's underwear.
Mickey Mouse's underwear.
So shout out to my Kuya June. That's my big brother June in Florida, in Orlando. He's a manager of all the dirty laundry in Disney World.
Oh, okay.
We did it over Christmas, not as fast as this one before.
Yeah.
Summer we're doing Disneyland. We've not done Disneyland before. And then the kids haven't done Disney World. I have. But we picked that now. Hopefully Disneyland is calm.
This is what I'm thinking. I grew up in Orlando. So Disney World is what I know. And I feel like that's a scam for people to spend all this money. It's impossible to pack. No matter how many days you put in. By the third day, your kids are like, I'm over this. Like, it's so sweaty. They don't want to walk nowhere. It's nap time. They're hungry. And I'm like, but we're in the most magical place. It doesn't matter where you are. That meltdown's going to happen. So I feel like Disneyland is probably the best. Because you can get all the fun in. And then put your head on the pillow and say it, at the end of the day. Oh, okay.
All right. Y'all should. What?
Oh, I was just going to say the company that I worked for before I got into radio, every year our convention was held in Orlando, and we stayed at the Universal Complex hotels. So it was pretty cool because we could go to Universal Studios, and all you had to have was your room key, and they had a special line at all the rides where you went to the front of the line. I felt kind of bad because people would be looking going, what the hell? And,
I'm staying here for an hour and a half.
and I'm like,
I don't know who it is. Usually we are live on Facebook.
Do you want me to scoot over?
So we'll stay live the whole time. I just wanted you to know because we still want to talk and stuff, but in case people don't want to get on in, get close.
Microphone so fun. Oh, here, eat this. Yourself.
Well, you don't need to hear yourself. You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just do like one time singing on one mic. I think I need to hear myself. Yeah.
we got one more song and then the break.
Okay.
What times up in Colorado or in the springs do you think like you do?
I'll be honest, we haven't really done much. I'm in Colorado like 8 years. And most of the time, it's just go.
Yeah.
So like I haven't even gotten into the what do you go and do. Like my brother and his wife Becky came in June, and that was the first time like we had really done Colorado, so like the Garden of the Gods, and then to the train and take the train ride.
Is that Colorado like feet?
And the train ride and with the dinner.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And like we did that and went to a couple things, but before that, I didn't really go.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make sure I had a good position for both of y'all. Just
Okay.
back and forth here. And then I didn't want to block it. You like me, like I don't care.
I heard you have an event coming up with your own Build Your Own Barbie?
Yeah, so the Barbie.
Oh, wow.
Been coming up. I have a lot of bits coming up now, so guys follow me on Facebook. Hills Mentoring for Women and Girls. I check out some business
I was
cards.
going to say.
It's Easter Sunday, so people don't be, or after church, it'll be cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next one after that, I'm a feather vendor, but I got a free event network coming up for vendors to set up and sell products if you sell products.
Oh, yeah.
Or provide some type of service.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a sister-in-law who does so much.
Yeah, let her know.
And then Pride Beauty. I know he's trying to get his stuff out and stuff
anybody
like that.
can refer, because I think he said about 20 tables can fit in there, but I think he's talking about the round tables.
Okay.
If everybody brings their slim tables, I think it'll be just fine. I think it can fit quite a few people in there.
Where's that?
What was that? Idlewild?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, in the gym. Yeah, it's a nice space. I
Yeah,
like that place.
I seen them set up, but they had round tables, so I'm thinking he was talking about the round tables, but if everybody could just, you know,
So is everyone here the whole time?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I just want to make sure so I can figure out how to. We're on till 3.
okay.
I'm gonna rotate
I
it,
gotta
but
leave probably like 2:45, but I take my daughter somewhere.
Okay.
At 3.
well, no, I just want to make sure I break it down right to where
Yeah.
everybody, you know, we all talk a little bit, but then I want to make sure I focus. Everybody at least get their little cut.
Yeah, okay, cool, thank you.
Break it down.
In case someone had to leave early, you know, okay.
And normally it is just 2, but I want to try to support. Like I know, cause you got an event coming up, and you got an event coming up, and so I was like, you know, at least let's talk about the event. And we're only on Sunday, so I was like, we'll make it work.
Thank you.
I know more business owners too that you can bring on.
That's how the word feel to people. Yeah, I think the last event, I didn't get to go. The last event I heard of at I do was the Sweets and Beans or something, or something like that.
Yeah, that was an event they held there, and they did a Burlington Tea Party, which she said did very well, so.
That's good. I like that space a lot. I always keep them more, especially with the outdoor space in the front. It's really nice.
It's cute.
Yeah.
And I had a double dutch contest coming up too.
Y'all know how to double dutch?
Oh, I was gonna say.
He was double dutching like
I'm
that.
going to get these girls know how to double dutch.
I could do these.
She's kind of
Walking
like
down
I
the place
can.
with both of us. I love that.
I need to work on. You know what? I'm trying to find some kind of cardio to get into. Hiking. No, I need to do double dutch. It's really good.
I can jump rope, I can't double dutch. I used to always be like, how do you do this? Not coordinate like that.
I'm into a lot of curls, you know. I'm about ready to move up to 16 ounce curls.
Okay. You have double fisted girls.
Enough to start, but not enough to change it.
No. At least you can start. You know what I'm saying?
I always got it in my head.
We are going to be at 30 seconds.
We got 30 seconds.
I'll do like my new Cordoba with fine Corinthian leather. Mics are hot.
So are we.
That fine Corinthian leather.
Yeah, I hope it's good leather. You know, these days they don't make quality products anymore, I feel. It's like they want you to come back and buy it over and over in the next 5 years.
Yeah, well, that's going to stop here pretty quick because that's why China, everything comes from there. It's because it's cheap and now it's not.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely not anymore.
But I digress. Thanks for tuning in to 80s Babies, and Paul's still hanging out with you, and we got Nikki here, and she's got some great guests, so you ought to get on with it, girl.
Yes, I want to go ahead and Miss Tina, would you like to introduce yourself and who you are and what you do?
Hey, my name is Miss Tina. I'm the owner of Heels Mentoring for Women and Girls. Want to come on and showcase. Thank you, Nikki, for having me.
Thank you.
And just talk about my event coming up, which is going to be Build a Barbie. It's going to be Easter Sunday. If you follow me on Heels Mentoring for Women and Girls on Facebook, go ahead and follow that page. I'll have way more activities coming up. My ideas are endless. So this next Sunday coming up is Easter Sunday, and then May 4th, check that out too if you're a vendor. Come on out and bring the table and sell your products and get to know each other.
Cool, cool. And we're going to get more into that here soon. And then I have Miss Katie. How are you doing?
I'm good now. I'm in great company.
Yes, thank you.
Why,
Thank
where are
you.
you at?
Hey, tell us where we at. Narden, 101. And then we have, well, you guys may hear me slip up and call her Coach J, but Minister Jaquel. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good,
Happy to
good.
be here.
Yes, well, I want to thank you ladies for joining us. And today, you know, don't be too nervous. We're just going to go with the flow. We do want to get to know who you are and what you do. So when it comes to my first question, what made you want to become a minister? How did you get down on that road?
Oh, so if I'm completely honest, it wasn't a want. Like, it wasn't a want. It was just a design for my life that I was not allowed to, like, push off to the side. Like, so I've been in church all my life. I can say that. There's been times where you have your, you're in church because you're in church, but then you build your own relationship and you get that. And then once that started to happen, when my relationship started taking a different look, then that's when I started really being like, okay, God, I hear you. And so then as I started moving through life, it was like he had set up a whole lot of things that like pushed me in this direction where I was like, oh, you've been doing this for a really long time. You just didn't know it and you just didn't have the title. And then so he kind of just, he ordained it and he led the steps and I just kept being obedient until we ended up here and now ministers.
And so how long have you actually been in ministry?
I got my license in September of 2021.
Okay.
That is when I got the license to preach. And that was even an ordained situation because at the time, my grandma, who is no longer with, she passed away in October of 2021. And so the way that God ordained that was like he made sure that it got done before she passed, because I probably, because he knew me, would have struggled with the acceptance of moving forward had I not like been able to share that with her, because she was one of the people that was really critical and vital in just me building my relationship and all those things and being able to watch her example. And so that transition happened in the right time for me then to be able to do what I needed to do.
Okay, and you work in the Department of Corrections, and how long have you been doing that as well?
So I'm not there anymore, but for that was for, oh gosh, beginning of my career, probably about 13 years or more, where I was a probation and parole officer, and then I went to be the program administrator at the county jail in Denver. And I did that for about 3 years, so running all the substance abuse programs, mental health programs, parenting, like financial classes, all of this stuff, to just re-entry programs to help build those who were in there and help them to get ready for re-entry into society. And again, all ordained, all set up that way. And now I kind of work on the human services side, so not necessarily in the jail, but we still deal with some of the same populations of people as well. And so again, it's still just about helping people see like the direction that they were going is not always it, right? Like, and that there's other options, and that we all we all can run into some situations, and like the difference sometimes is a matter of where I was when mine was happening, where you were when yours was happening, and then just how we decide to move, you know, like after we deal with certain things, but like we're not different.
Yes. And thank you for your service for that. That probably gave you a lot of opportunity to actually minister to people as well, and probably help them through their struggles while being in those confined spaces. But as being a spiritual leader, being human and having your own struggles, like how do you really navigate all that and keeping your faith?
Listen. So it's a lot of praying, and it's a lot of isolation sometimes, if I be honest, because when you go through, you feel some type of way. Just because you have a relationship with God doesn't change the fact that you're still human. And when you're dealing with stuff, you're dealing with stuff. Like, I mean, I can give an example, like, Nikki knows this, but like in the last 2 years, I've had to have hip surgery on my right hip. So 2 years ago, I had the first one. Last year in July, I had the second one. And the first one, it was like, okay, we figured out what's wrong, moving on, right? Like, have the surgery, move on. Then it was like, why are you still hurting? What is still going on? And then they discovered that it was a bigger problem, that was going to take a bigger surgery, and it was going to be way worse. And it was. And so I had that surgery, and I came out of it like, what in the world is happening? And I literally had to have some conversations with God. Like, I'm not even kidding you, because I told him, this is too bad. You might as well take me out, because I can't do this. Like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, and it wasn't even all about the pain. While that was rough, it was like lack of control, because I couldn't do anything for myself. Like, I couldn't do a thing. I couldn't lift my legs up to get in the bed or lift them down. Like, my husband literally had to lift my legs up for me or bring them down. I had to be dependent on people around me. And I'm not that person, right? Like, I'm the kind of person like, okay, you said this needs to get done, get it done. And God was like, but I didn't ask you to be that person all the time. And when I need you to do that, I'll have you do that. But now is not that time. And so he had to put me in a situation, right, where I was going to have to learn how to operate differently and accept, you know, like what it is that he wanted me to do in that time, and not what I decided was me for myself, but what he decided was for me at that time. And so that was rough, and I went through some things, and my responses to people was not always so, you know, they wasn't always so great, and I struggled with like the reason,
Mhm.
but also accepting that there's always something on the other side of it. Like, I don't get to dictate that, but there's something, right?
And then, Peggy, kind of a similar question, like, how do you use your spiritual life and navigating being a business owner and just the everyday life, so, everyday things in life?
Sorry. So, something that I've been doing with my kids in the morning is these Bible studies, and we started over in Genesis randomly. I think it's randomly. It's not random. But we're talking about how God created the world with order, right? He created the waters and the land before the animals, in a certain order, so that they had a place to live. And the animals first, because Adam had to name all the animals, right? There's a certain reason that he did those things in order. And a couple weeks ago, this was rolling through my head, and I'm like, I know this story. I know about creation. I know inside. I think I know it inside and out. But then applying it to my life and asking God, there has to be order and organization in my life. I can't just operate on chaos and burn out every night and sleep for 2 hours and wake up and try to do it again.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, we have to wear all those hats. We have to file our taxes. We have to be on social media. We have to be present in the community. I care about our community so much, and that's why I love our relationship together, because I see your heart for our community and that you really love to lift others up. But I had to evaluate and ask myself, in the order of in my family we have this joke of order of operations because I'm a math nerd. But if God is first, my marriage is next, then my kids are next. Why is community getting more of that time?
Oh. Okay.
And so that was hard. As a business owner, I have to ask myself, yes, I love my community, but as far as what I devote my time and energy to, if my children are needing more of me and needing more leadership and nourishment and time with me and more of my compassion, I can't turn the other way and give all of that to my community if my children don't get it first.
And thank you. And that's true, because it's hard for us sometimes to want to, we always put everybody else first before ourselves. And Miss Tina, the same question for you. How does spirituality play in your business and your mentorship in your family?
I'm a very spiritual person. Very spiritual. I wouldn't say I'm into religion, but I am a very spiritual person. Family is very important to me. And I always feel like I'm just always going to put my family first, but family is first, and I always want to put them first. I do have a heart for my community. That's why I created Hills Mentoring for Women and Girls, because I actually come from that area. I come from K-Land. I grew up in K-Land. My mom's house is still there right now.
And for people who don't know what K-Land is, could you explain to that? Because it's a lot of people that have moved to Colorado Springs and don't know what K-Land is. Could you actually give us a description of what K-Land is so they can know what that means to you?
Yeah, K-Land is, it was an area that we grew up because it was in between Kmart and King Soopers.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us kids that grew up in that area, if you see a lot of stuff going on at John Adams, I used to go to that school. That was my elementary school that we went to. So that's my community. That's all the people that we grew up with. You'll see it kind of getting a little bigger with like Jamon Golden. Jamon Golden used to live behind my house.
So what's the boundary of like K-Land? Like, did you just say?
K-Land is usually like from Kmart, which is off of Airport, and then it used to be a King Soopers where that Popeyes is that sits on Monterey.
Oh,
that
okay.
was the area that they would call K-Land, but both of them are shut down now. But back in the day, that was King Soopers and Kmart, and if you lived in between that area, then you live in K-Land.
Yeah, I've actually asked DeAndre before. I was like, for people that aren't from here, we don't know what K-Land is. So that, that's vital information for people that aren't from here, and it has a lot of value to people of color in the community.
Yeah.
I noticed that as well. And not just people of color, but a lot of people, it's something special to them. Well, thank you, ladies. We're going to get back to some music real quick, and we're going to get back to some talk radio after that music. So thank you guys for tuning in to Gnarly One-on-One. Paul, what do we have coming up next, sir?
We got a little bit of Bon Jovi. We give love like
that.
Hey, just real quick, you mentioned Easter's coming up, so quick tip for people. I know the price of eggs is really expensive, and so doing that for Easter right now, it's just tough on the budget. And so go to the pet store that has reptiles and buy a bunch of the reptile eggs. They look the same and just don't have the crackers. Save some money. let's go ahead and get on with some Bon Jovi right here on Gnarly101.com.
Yeah.
We're out.
Did I do good on time?
No?
Huh?
What?
Did I do good on time?
The time is yours.
Okay, that's what I mean. I asked you that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, the time is yours. You do what you want.
Okay. But I at least want to try to break it up. Like at least 8 to 10 minutes. I think if we're doing talk, especially if we're really flowing. And if not, it's just kind of low. I feel, but I feel with us three conversations, like
Just go with what you feel. You know, it's your show. You just tell me when you're ready and I'll bring you in.
and then you kind of know because I
hope, like, that's the one thing that I struggle with as a small business owner. It's like, I know that it's catering to like our military audience, things like that. But I would rather see small business owners from the springs open stuff up, you know, and then it's like things in our city are characteristic of people who live in our city instead of being bought up by like companies from California, Texas, or whatever.
Well, that's why I created the pop-up shop. Pop-up shops for vendors so we can come and spend with each other. If you see what's going on, we are making an impact.
Yeah.
We're the biggest spenders. We do impact with our selling stores closing down because people are starting to understand the economics and spending with smaller people so we can make it.
Oh,
You know how that's how the market is. Why not charge? I want everybody to just spend with each other and buy from each other rather go spend with companies.
I got a couple of people that's Creative Islander and Pride Beauty. We're actually doing a pop up at Shalom this. I guess I need to talk about that.
Yeah.
This Saturday coming up. And he's just trying to get his stuff out. So I'll definitely give him the information because he needs both of them need support. And then Creative Islander, she does like decorations for parties and all that. And then graduation is coming up.
This stuff is so cool.
Yeah.
It's like
But her cheese is bomb. I don't know if y'all know she had tea. I've been testing on her teas. Okay, like she makes these like teas and stuff. But you know, because she's an herbalist too. She's from the island.
Oh
so
yeah.
I've been testing her stuff and Shay Cola from Zenith Moon. Yeah, because I be testing stuff. I can't really tell people like, I'll go do this if I can't test it out.
Yeah,
So,
try it out. It's a lot of, it's so interesting. Business owners is like, it's so many people that are talented and you just don't find them because they're small.
Yeah.
But because we have the internet now you can find all these different people and they're so talented. I'm like, these people should be selling out on this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And see, that's why I like to do what I'm doing as far as bringing small, because a lot of people don't have a budget to, go pay for an interview for 10 minutes or something. But if we can help each other out, help each other build, it'll come back a long way. So
It's working, I see it.
and then I like to have y'all back because for like raw and uncut. If you thought this was raw and uncut, no.
No, I know it's not.
She said, I know it's not. So I met her at Thrive. We was in a business program together, me and Katie in cohort 14.
Yes.
And the first time she sit next, I was like, you might not want to sit next to me. And she was like, wow. I was like, I really just don't know how to shut up.
It's like two class clowns sitting next to each other. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Supposed to be focused. I just say the most random stuff that comes in my head. So,
The first day we volunteered together, it was a pitch night of the previous cohort. And we were doing like attendance, people coming in and signing in sheets. I was like, oh, hi, I'm Linda. She's like, you can't call me my government name. And then she didn't say anything else. For like 2 hours, I was like, I'm just trying to be nice. I don't know if you got another name. You can say, call me Nikki. I was just like, and then 2 hours later, she's like, oh, what are you having for lunch? I'm like, oh, okay. We're good.
Oh, you talk about Nikki?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's okay. I'm sorry.
It's alright. It's just me. I felt like it was like the first day of school. I'm like overachiever kid. I'm like, alright, I'm dressed. I'm ready to be here.
She said,
Oh, yeah,
what you
I'm
did.
He's like, no. That's not it. I was like, okay.
And then I met Tina. I met her off the internet. I didn't know Tina when I found her. Tina is the first person that ever cut my hair.
That's a surprise.
She's the first person that ever like cut my hair the shortest I ever had. After bro passed, she did my green cut. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was the shortest I ever had. I need to have you cut it again because it's unhealthy again.
Yeah, I'm gonna take care of that. Because you already got healthy hair, you just need to keep it trimmed.
And then Coach Jay came and she was coaching Nene and them. Yeah, I don't even know how that came about. Because you know Trey was coaching them, and then after that happened to his brother, he wasn't coaching. Like my husband went to a dark spot, he wasn't coaching no more or nothing.
And then Jeff had somebody on the team, and I worked with Jeff at the courthouse because I was probation. He was a sheriff.
Oh,
And so then I met him, and he started talking about it. And I was like, "Oh, I'm looking for a team for my daughter." I put her on there, and then I just was going. And then he was like, "Could you coach this weekend? I got to be out of town for this." And I'm like, "All right, no problem." I coached that weekend, and it was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be," and I'm like, "Okay." And then all of a sudden,
and then Devin ended up coaching too, didn't
I
he?
was like, I'm gonna need you to come on in and help because Jeff, he wasn't able to make it like that anymore, and so then we kind of it just happened.
And then she got pregnant.
I did, and then had Shaya sitting in the car seat on the side while I was coaching. She was literally sitting in the car seat over there because Devon had to go to work, and I had her on the side. And I think we got the same place at that time.
Don't stop nothing.
Listen,
Yeah.
She was sitting right there.
Who wants to go next?
I don't care.
Who? I seen you look at her first.
They both look at me. I'm like,
That sounds like out of the Christmas story where the toady goes, "Who's next?"
I have to wake up at 5 a.m. Well, 4:45 tomorrow morning. This Randy is working out the dining in the morning. Not that I'll get back on schedule because I haven't been working out when I'm supposed to. It's hard, but if I don't wake up at 5, it's not gonna happen.
You said that's what Shaquan just said. She said she changed hers back to early morning. But she said if she don't do it early morning, it don't work. So that
It's the best. You do it early in the morning.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I feel better that way.
Not just on your stomach.
If I don't go to
Did I
dining.
hear you say what you got issues with the hips and things? Did they get all that worked out, or
Oh no, I have surgery on the left side on the 18th.
so? What is it that's going on?
So they found out I had hip dysplasia. So I had a torn labrum is where it all started. But the reason was because I had hip dysplasia, so my hips are off. And so there was no protection of the labrum, which is why it kept tearing. And so then now they fixed the right side. So they literally had to go and break my hip in 3 places and then put these 3 screws that are about this size is in there to hold my hip in place. And so that's what they did the second time on the right side. So now they're doing it on the left side because hip dysplasia, you really can't fix one side without fixing the other. And while I swore I was never going back and doing the left side, it's either you live in pain or you go ahead and get it done. And usually they catch this like in 12-year-olds, between like 12 and like 18 and stuff, they catch it and they get it done then. I didn't know. I didn't catch it. It wasn't an issue like that for me, but now it's just gotten to the point where functionality is just...
So did it hurt when it got cold and stuff?
Oh yeah. And the screws are like, you can keep them for a lifetime, but they say 10% of people have to get them out. My right ones, they're not going to be able to stay. So when they do the left side in August, they're going to take the screws
Are
out
you?
the right side.
Oh no.
Crazy. No, I know what you're talking about. I had my left hip replaced, and I never felt pain like that in my life. Coming up, waiting for the surgery, and stuff. It had gotten so bad. It was just, it was crazy. I don't even know what to say.
And that's what they say, the hip replacement. I was like, can we just replace it? I literally asked them, and they were like, no. They were like, because there's all the stuff around it that has to get fixed, so the replacement wouldn't even do me any good.
Mine was just, I didn't inherit any money from my mom, just arthritis. And it just ground bone on bone. The surgeon said that he said it looked like weevils in the way of the bone when he got in there. But,
They say, yo,
luckily,
what
I had
up from
great
OKC?
surgeons. Worked
Kevin
out
said,
well.
what's up, Nikki and Katie?
Oh, Kevin Davis?
Yeah.
What's up, Kevin?
I don't know if they're still listening. I just let it go. I'm sorry. I need to start interacting with people.
Here, let me get it. I've been trying to link up with Kevin for a minute.
1 minute.
1 minute.
read.
I'm so frustrated.
The mom.
Oh, the Android app is downloadable now. It's on the website. All they have to do is just click on the button.
I don't know if it's just like the people on Facebook. That's the hardest time if I'm on my
I was
phone
going to
typing.
see
Like if my tax one diagnosed on my friends list or something, it just is like,
Yeah,
Do you follow them? Make sure you follow them.
it's a song. Tina Turner, typical
Yeah,
man.
that's the app
Okay.
sign and all the-
Coming in, mics are hot.
And then, like, all the people that let us start talking, you should find them. Yeah. So make sure you're following me.
Coming in, mics are hot. It's all you.
Oh yeah. Thanks for tuning in to Gnarly 101. It's your girl Nikki, and I have some lovely ladies in the building. I have Jaquel, and then I have Chef Katie, and then I have Miss Tina with Brides by Tina. And so, Chef Katie, how you
Hi.
doing today?
I'm doing great. I was feeling a little just sleepy and tired, but when I stepped in here, it felt so good. Good
That's
company.
what's up. Good vibes, good
Yes.
company, good healing. And
Yes.
talking about
It's all that
healing.
80s stuff that she was looking at.
Oh yeah, she was very, she was caught up in a past time, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, good vibes and good feelings, so
Yeah.
you're a chef. What made you decide to become a chef, and what's your why behind what you do?
Yeah, so I'll give you the short version. But I worked for different financial institutions here as like a customer service representative, a teller basically at different financial places here to pay my bills when I was in my early 20s. And I found myself dreaming. And so I'd be on the internet looking up different restaurants or vacation spots to go to. And I was just like, look at the food here. It's incredible. Look at the culture here. This is incredible. And just kept digging deeper into understanding when you're presented a meal really anywhere in the world, there's so much work behind that food that's hitting the plate in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
There's the farmers that touch it and grow it. There's the people who labor and cut it. And behind all of that, there's years and years of different cultures knowing how to get the good nutrition and the flavor out of that food. So I just kept digging deep and dreaming a lot, and I was going to go meet up with a friend downtown to tell her that I need to call my parents and tell them that I'm not going to be a math professor. I'm not going to major in mathematics and minor in Spanish like I told them. I'm not going to travel the world that way. For my mom's from the Philippines, and her biggest dream was that all of her children be professionals. And for a lot of immigrant families, that's the dream, the quote-unquote American dream, is that their children would do better than they had, that they created opportunity or a road ahead for them.
Did you grow up in the Philippines?
I did not grow up in the Philippines. I grew up mostly in Biloxi, Mississippi, and then also in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
So I grew up around Filipino food because my family's Filipino, and I have older siblings that were in the Philippines before we came here. And so that's the culture and the food that raised me and that nurtured me, that grew me, and that I find comfort in. And when I was meeting up with my friend working at the bank, I said, I have to make this scary phone call to my parents. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm a grown woman, but I can't say no to my parents somehow, And on the way, walking to the coffee shop, we ran into a homeless man that I knew from volunteering and handing out food with a church group that I was attending. And he said, hey, you have to meet my friend. He used to be a chef. And I ended up speaking with this gentleman for 4 hours about mother sauces and not throwing away the bone in soup, like give it to your dog. Always make sure that every drop is served to someone, that every drop of food nourishes someone or something. And my friend was like, I don't think you need to call your parents. You should just make this decision now. And yeah, call them. And it's not a discussion. Just tell them that this is something that God wants you to do.
The best way to handle that is actually to preface it and go, Mom, guess what? I've decided to join the Marine Corps. And then they're going to be so thankful when you say, no, not really, I'm going to be a chef. They're going to be like, oh, thank God, okay.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
But so I took that as a sign, and really at the core of it, it wasn't even, looking back, it wasn't necessarily pursuing my quote-unquote dreams, but more of fulfilling this purpose that I have to nourish others. Like, I think it's very important that if I know someone that's going without, I can't pass by or turn a blind eye. It's important to me that people have what they need spiritually, physically, emotionally, to be the best person that they can be.
So how do you like use your food to like form storytelling or healing?
Yeah, so that's a really hard and sticky subject, especially with being Filipino American. There's a lot of, the Philippines has a lot of cultural exchange, some of it forced upon them, some of it by trade. There was colonization, there was military occupation from the Spaniards, from Americans, from Japan. But when I get to present a dish, I can tell people, this is what I have rich memories of, or what the history of. One of those dishes is adobo. Adobo is kind of universal throughout the Philippines, but wherever you go in the Philippines, it has different ingredients involved. The main ingredients are vinegar, black pepper, and garlic and bay leaf. So the original, the OG adobo is adobo puti, which means white adobo, right?
Okay.
And that's before Philippines started trading with Japan and China. So once that trade started happening, now we have soy sauce. So now it's soy sauce, garlic, bay leaf, with chicken or other proteins in it. And then further down the road, there's more trade with India. And instead of soy sauce, there's coconut milk, and which I brought some stuff with coconut milk in it. Coconut milk and vinegar to make it sour. Then you keep traveling south. Some adobos have chilies in it, and then there's red adobo which has achiote, and achiote doesn't originate in the Philippines. It comes from the Caribbean, and that happened because of the slave trade. The invention of tequila happened because Filipinos taught Mexicans how to distill agave nectar to a more like a clearer concentration, because we were making alcohol from coconut juice. So because of the slave trade, unfortunately, that's a hard thing to reconcile with, but because of these things, tequila is a remnant of that, right?
Okay.
So it's presenting the history and the facts, and having people be able to reconcile that themselves. I can't heal people, and I can't make them believe the same things that I believe, but I can present them the facts and say that you're eating this, right? And this is the truth of where this food comes from, and now you have to sit with that and think about it.
Well, you seen my face, because I had a feeling because some good food can do some good healing on a good day when you're having a good day, regardless of what culture it comes from.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just curious, because all you ladies I know cook, what's your, starting with you, Katie, what's the favorite meal that you love to prepare for, your family or people you love?
So it's a very simple thing. It's called pan de sal, which means salt bread.
Is that bread?
Yeah, you're. And I didn't have time to bring it, so I was a little sad and ashamed to come here. At the end, so I brought a whole lot of other stuff.
And I'm going to show that on the next segment. But now, she made this bomb bread, y'all. Y'all heard my voice. Is that bread? But go ahead, finish explaining what it is.
So, pan de sal in the Philippines, during World War II, rice was used to ration to soldiers into the war. And the introduction of flour and baked goods was really prominent during Spaniard occupation. And so when World War II was happening, that boomed. Lots of egg yolks, lots of flour being used. And pan de sal literally is just flour. It's salt, it's water, and yeast. And sometimes it's a wild culture that people cultivate, but, active whatever yeast. But I went to the Philippines last year, and I'm telling you, time and place is such a big part of what impacts you in making memories around food. Time and place. And the context is so important. I've eaten pan de sal in the United States from the grocery store. My mom makes it or whatever.
You know that wasn't going to be
no. But standing on the street in my husband's hometown in Iba Zambales in the Philippines, the northern part of Luzon, the humidity is stifling. You can barely breathe standing on the street corner. But it's eating this bread is hydrated from the moisture of the air, and it takes a special hand to know the texture of the dough, and it's baked at a crazy high temperature to get that crust on the outside and bake it fast. Bake it fast, right? So you're eating and it's crunchy and it's fresh in the morning, and you're dipping it in your coffee. The sun's not even out yet. You hear the chickens crowing. It's
okay, you're talking about dipping in the coffee. What's the green butter?
The green
butter is
so that's
I don't know about the coffee, but what's the green butter that goes with this bread? Okay. At least you made it with it.
Yes.
And it tasted good.
So it usually doesn't go with that. That's just kind of my own twist on it. Usually So
Keep
pan
it.
is so you can do whatever you want with it, but usually in the morning it's dipped in your coffee, and so sometimes I make a coffee infused butter, and I use a coffee that's sourced from the Philippines through Venture Coffee here in Colorado. But the buko pandan, so those are best friends. Buko is young coconut, and pandan is a long leaf that has jasmine and floral vanilla tones to it. And it's usually put into rice as it's steaming, so it fills up the whole. Like if that's on a steamer, the aromatics of that is overwhelming. It's so beautiful, and that's what you were tasting in the butter that I gave you. And then on the top of them crunchy things was caramelized coconut milk on top. So yeah.
See, like she did bring out some snacks, but she didn't bring you that. But you can order it from her. She can make it. Like she hand delivered some to me and everything. So
Your daughter would knock me down.
Miss Tina, like, what's your favorite meal to cook for your family?
Well, my
Because you're
mom,
what, a Caribbean touch, right?
Well, my mom is Creole, so
Okay.
like I cook a lot of Creole food, and I also cook a lot of Caribbean, like Jamaican food too, because I was with my child's father for so long. So like a lot of those dishes I'll just cook. And his mother taught me how to cook a lot of them, just straight up in Jamaica, like right in her kitchen. So. I also cook for Brides by Tina. We cook and we clean houses, so that's another service that I added to Brides by Tina as well.
Cool. Coach Jay? Minister Jaquel?
It's
No. Minister. No.
Listen, I cook to eat. So I don't have a favorite meal that I like to just cook for my family, because truly I just cook and I want it done in enough time that like when I'm like, if I get to that point of too hungry that I'm ready to eat already. But I will say that the dishes that they request are probably the ones I like to make the most. So like if they request it because they feel like I cook it so well, then it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then I give it a little extra touch than just I'm cooking to eat and we need to be eating by 6:30 because we got somewhere to be by 7, kind of thing. And so like then that's kind of how it works. But I'm not really cooking.
Well, lasagna is one of my favorite ones to cook. Paul, you cook? Do you cook, Paul?
Otherwise I wouldn't eat, but yeah, if it'll fit into a microwave, it's good.
Oh man, you definitely need to call Chef Katie to help you out. Okay. Yeah, well, we're gonna go ahead and get some music playing. We have Miss Tina coming up. We have Katie. She's gonna show us some snacks she bought us. It looks like what snacks from around the world. That's what that table looks like over there. And then we still have Coach Shay. We have another hour of talk radio and music for you guys. So stay tuned with us here on Normally and what we have coming up.
We're going to get back into it with a little bit of Robbie Neville. How about a little bit of C'est la vie?
I don't know what that means.
Right here on Gnarly, you'll find out.
What does it mean, Katie?
You said all smooth. C'est la vie. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't call it smooth. Yeah, so
Somebody
I
said,
don't
"Oh,
have
that
utensils,
sounds
my
good."
bad. But these are some Filipino pickles that have green papaya, onion, and red bell pepper.
Okay.
In some vinegar, sweetened vinegar. And this is called achara. So like in India, in Hindi, the word achara means to pickle. But in the Philippines, this is what it is. So.
Okay.
And then this is another dish that has Indian influence. It's coconut curry with chickpeas. And this is edamame hummus. It has some like roasted poblano peppers. This isn't necessarily Filipino, but this is me trying to do some vegan stuff.
Oh, okay, so it's vegan.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is vegan. And then this is some brownies with sweet potato, also vegan.
Okay.
I'm not vegan, but I have a lot of clients that are. And like, I also, some of my clients
Somebody
are
throwing
dealing with
rocks at
health
us.
issues. And so I'm like, well, if you try this vegan thing, it does have low cholesterol. A lot of things that you're struggling with. These are still filling. It's still filling and delicious stuff. It doesn't have all that high fat content.
Yeah.
And then these are just some stuff I bought from the Asian market on my way here. These are coffee. I don't want like mints. These are hard candies. This is a popular instant coffee. These are shrimp flavored chips, like chocolate. Shrimp flavored. These are peanut. I feel the ones that are peanuts. Hopefully not. These are adobo flavored peanuts. So that a dish I was telling you about, like the stewed chicken and stuff like that. That's what this is supposed to taste like. And then lechon manok. That means like roasted chicken. So roasted chicken flavored garlic nuts.
And like nuts?
It's like corn nuts.
Oh, okay.
This one's like corn nuts. This has peanuts.
And there's those special brownies?
I mean, they're not Colorado. I don't know what kind of brownie brownies, cookies before.
No, I'm messing with you.
But these are vegan, so they're super dark chocolate and they have a little bit of coffee in there too. So, yeah. They're better warmed up.
Okay.
So dig in, feel free. I'm bad though because I didn't bring any like utensils for it.
We need to start doing. I need to just get a little thing of utensils to put in the corner. Because people like bringing us snacks.
Oh, yeah, capiche.
No, I want this with some ice cream.
Right?
I already got my idea for this. So. Get some ice cream along with that brownie.
Yeah, I have a friend that's like, every time she gets her friends together, she hires me, she's vegan. And she's like, I want everything to be vegan. I said, but all your friends are vegan. She's like, but I always have to suffer. Whenever like other people are eating, she can have like one thing. You know what I mean? There's only like one vegan thing on the menu. But like, if she hires me, then everybody will eat it. And they won't notice that like there's no meat.
And since we're at the top of the hour, I'm going to do introductions again. And this time behind introductions, could y'all tell people where to find you if you want them to find you? Yes.
If you don't
want them to find you, that's all. I'm pretty sure they can find you if they wanted to, but if you don't want to share them, you don't have to.
If I was a private detective, maybe, I don't know.
Well, thank you for walking out with me.
Yeah. No, you're welcome.
At the Pioneers Museum.
Because
that was you telling me.
That was
yeah, I
so
seen
wild
that.
to me. I was like, you have 5 years to build this space, and you're about to launch, and you couldn't find one.
But remember,
murals.
no, she said she talked to them and did research and, talked to all. Remember, that's what she was saying. That's what really got me was like, you said you did all this research, you talked to all these people, and you couldn't find one.
The thing that's frustrating to me is that was at the end of basically the end of the tour, and we had talked about Conejos neighborhood, right?
Uh-huh.
We talked about the BLM protests and things like that happen here in the Springs, right? We talk about all these huge historic things happening in Colorado Springs at the Pioneer Museum. How is it that you can't? There's no way that you don't know how to make the right decision at this time for this room.
Where is that located?
It's downtown, taking in
Tayhone in Nevada, right across from
the
the
courthouse.
Oh, I've been over there
Yeah.
before. It's that museum.
Yeah.
And
I'll check it out.
I don't think I know how I can be rude. I don't think I was that rude. I just asked her a question and I walked out. I'm like, I just don't want to hear the bullshit. Like,
No,
real
I don't think
talk,
you're
like-
right either. And like when he left, she was trying to like grasp at words and explain other stuff. But to me, this is the way that I thought about it, because I'm not indigenous, I'm not native. But I was thinking like, if this was a Filipino tribute room, and they hired a Caucasian person to ink the mural of Jose Rizal, who is like the champion of the Philippines, right? How would I feel seeing a brown person painted by a white person?
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no huge thing for me is representation. I can't pretend that I'm not half white and not half Filipino. So I get that. I know what I look like. I know what it's like to show up as me in the world. But if you're going to be Pioneer Museum, which is completely public facing and it's free, and people who visit our city are going to go there and know what it's about, the very least you could do.
And then, like the other room, she said all the artists were in here were paid. So it made me think, like, did you not want to pay that artist? Did they must have donated their time or something? Like, it had me going down a rabbit hole. That's why I was like,
30
just leave it
seconds.
alone.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna point at y'all for introductions. I'm gonna do you last because I'm gonna start with you coming in.
Okay.
Mics are hot. Hey, 2:04 in the PM here in beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado. So it's mountain time.
Yes.
We don't know where you're at, so we can't tell you what time it is there.
Shout
Do
out
the
to all
math.
my listeners
Do
too.
the math.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to us online and on Gnarly. And we're at the top of the hour. I guess we're at the top. We're 5 minutes behind because he just said that. But
We're at the top of the hour if we say so.
Oh, okay. I like that. Being in charge. Man. But we have
No, you're the
in the
man.
studio. But we have in the studio with us today.
So I'm Jaquel Brooks Richardson, Minister Jaquel Brooks is the title I'm under. here today. And if you want to find me on Facebook. Jaquel Brooks Richardson is what I'm titled there. But then I also attend St. John Baptist Church, 902 South Prospect here in Colorado Springs, but connected to also Greater St. John on 1312 Uinta in Denver, Colorado, and then in Pueblo, also Word of Faith Christian Center, 3939 Redwood Lane. And so those are the three options that I can give to you, and know that the leader of those churches is tremendous. That is my father-in-law, John W. Richardson Jr., who pastors all three of those churches. And so Denver is at 9:30 a.m., Colorado Springs at 12, and Pueblo is at 3:30 p.m. So if you're in any of those areas and you just feel like you need an opportunity to just get connected with some people, those are the three places that I can hand you. But by all means, though, if them are not the places, you just go find the place that's right for you.
That's right.
And that's 3 different places, not one church name, because we know how some of these churches
Right.
are small. So we got 3 different churches that you can go to covering Denver, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. And Pueblo looked like the one you can make. You said that was 3:30 p.m.?
Yeah.
So that's for the late night people. So, yeah. But thank you for sharing that. And we also have in the studio today with us Chef.
Yes. Hi there. This is Chef Katie Fisco with Baon Supper Club. Baon, if you don't know how to spell that, it's like the word bacon with no C. So BAONSUPPERCLUB. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, Katie at baonsupperclub.com for any inquiries. We are a modern Filipino dining service. We do pop-ups all over the city, and we also do private dining as well.
Okay, thank you for joining us today. And last but not least, we have Miss
Tina. Hey.
Hey.
So we have, I have a few businesses going on. You can follow Brides by Tina on Facebook. We're on Instagram as well. You can check out Lashes by Tina. That is a product line for professionals, estheticians, and cosmetologists. You can follow that if you're looking to add a new service to your service menu. And that is a 2-day course. You can take that. And then also follow Hills Mentoring for Women and Girls. And that is specifically like just family events that I've put together for families. And then Brides by Tina also does events too for adults. So that's what we got going on with Brides by Tina. Follow Hills Mentoring for Women and Girls, and Lashes by Tina, y'all.
Okay. Well, Tina, thanks for coming in. And what does what inspired you to start Hills by Mentoring, and what does that actually mean?
Okay, so Hills, it was a hard time. I started at Pikes Peak, and I started marketing at first, because I market all day long. So I was like, I go to school for that. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. After I got labeled as a veteran, a disabled veteran, I had to figure out a career, but I wanted to be a home economics teacher. That's what I wanted to do, and they don't have those available at schools no more, if you see, and it's affecting our community. If you see these girls, they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean good, they just don't do that type of stuff no more. They're really into but they're advanced and stuff. So Hills Mentoring stands for Higher Educated Entities Leading to Success. So I went and got educated. I graduate next year from UCTS with my bachelor's, and thank you, communications with a focus in leadership. And I have daughters too. I have 3 daughters, and all I did is raise them to be what they are. My oldest one is going to school to be a doctor. She's going to get her PhD. My other one graduates next week. She's going for immigration law and science, computer science. And then my little one is which really inspired me to come up with this, because I am for right-brain people. Right-brain people are people like me that are just more creative. They're not into the books. They don't. It disturbs them to have to study all day from K to 12, and they don't address that issue. Because if you see a lot of people that get in trouble, they are right-brain people. And I'm focused on creating more performing arts schools that's just easier for people to get in, because Juilliard is so hard to get in. Like, those type of schools are so hard. So just imagine if we had more schools like that has a different curriculum that actually inspires those type of kids. They love to go to school, because they shouldn't be forced to be what they're not. They shouldn't have to do K through 12. I have my kid is she was an honor student, gifted kid. So I had one like that too, but they have programs for them. But they don't have programs like that for right-brain students. That's true. And so aren't there more programs? So I put together a curriculum that's over 15 different events to keep those kids focused, and hopefully later on I can get funding to get bigger performing arts schools for kids like that, because I feel like if you expect them to sit in a class all day and concentrate, you say it will disturb the gifted kid. It disturbs a right brain kid too to have to sit in a K through 12 class all day long. Because I was one of those, and I couldn't stand school. It's like, you know, you just get so distracted from other things that you wanted to do. I wanted to sing, I wanted to dance, I wanted to create art. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted to do. But there are so what I do is bring mentors to the table that are already in those areas, like Tony Exum. He came and spoke to some of the kids. I work with some of those kids at Sierra High School. We had Taco Tuesday. We are actually the ones that got the pantry in that school started, so those kids can have something to eat. Because we would do come every Tuesday. We would come, and you know, these kids didn't even have nothing to. They come to school to eat. Some of them have rough lives. You know what I'm saying? And they need help. So if they have a pantry, I have programs. I have a cooking class. What can we make out of this pantry? Okay, it's tuna fish. Let me show you how to make a tuna fish sandwich when you get home.
Because a lot of people don't have the basic skills. Well, we would think basic skills because someone taught you.
Yeah, that's
Some
right.
people don't.
Well, we
know.
used to have that in school, right? We used to have sewing classes, home economic classes. We need that back in the community.
We do.
I'm sorry. These kids need that
Yeah.
so they can get back on the right path. And good mentors that's already there, like Nino Pepper. He up in Denver, and he used to go to school with me. He had a rough life. If you read his book, Raised with the Wolves. I wrote his book because I was interested, because I used to go to school with him, and he used to have to hustle and take care of his grandmother by himself. Grew up real fast. I read his book from beginning to end. He donated some of those books to the kids. Yeah, so just people like that are successful now, but came up rough, but they're doing good, and they can actually bring those kids faster to where they need to go.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So they can be successful.
So how do you balance like being a mentor, being a business owner, being a mom, and a woman that's still growing herself?
I put all my passion and pain and love. It created Brides by Tina. That's where Brides by Tina came from. It was a rough patch of my life where I had to do everything by myself. My child's father, we were supposed to get married, and then like he just fell into a diabetic state, and just when he came out of it, he was never the same no more. So it was really like I built Brides by Tina from a broken heart.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you're here now.
Yeah.
And then Heels by Mentoring has an event coming up. It's called Build a Barbie.
Yes.
Could you tell us more about your event with Build a Barbie and how that worked out?
Yeah, I'm excited to do Build a Barbie. This is going to be the first event for Hills Mentoring for women and girls. I just create stuff, so I was just like, no, let's take this Barbie doll and paint it in and paint his face in, and actually I could create a class for them. So Build a Barbie is going to be more than one class. Once they buy the Barbie, I can teach them other things too. But the first class is then I'm going to show them how to make outfits. So off of patterns. So I got 30 different patterns. I'm going to show them how to cut it out, how to hand sew it. I have a machine to back them up if they're slow or whatever. But teach them that skill. At least they know. And when they learn how to sew a small item like that, they're also going to learn how to sew clothes. This might be somebody that's going to be the future designer. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And what they can turn it into once they just learn the basic skills. The next one, we're going to teach them how to do lace front wigs for their Barbie dolls. That's another skill that they can turn in. I've made money my whole life. Nikki was one of my clients. She's one of my clients. I do her hair. That's how I made a living as a single mom. And I was actually able to create a nice schedule, so I didn't have to be, can I go and take care of my kid? Can I go do this? And when I have my own business, I didn't have to do that. So it's a freedom that you have, you know. And the skills that you can teach these, and you never know what they're going to turn into. I got a ceramic class, it's a jewelry class. Everything I teach them is something that they can turn into an entrepreneurship.
Yes, congratulations, especially on tapping in on the creativity side for the kids and the young women and things like that. It is like a calling, because like you said, we need to get back to teaching people the basic things, because a lot of them don't know how to do it, how to clean, how to cook an egg, like, or even boil an egg, or even boil water. So without burning it up. So, is there anything as you in your Build a Barbie? I think you were still taking donations for Barbies, like
I take
old
donations.
Barbies.
You guys can give me whatever you can, because I have for-profit and I have non-profit. Because everything I make for-profit is just going to be thrown right back into to non-profit. And that's how I do it. I'm blessed, you know what I'm saying, and I'm coming back to help my generation. They need help. I want them to learn these basic skills, and I want those type of kids to be successful and not get in trouble. I want them to have proper mentors that's going to take them directly. Hey, okay, you know, they should have, Tony Exum, he just got signed, but do you know Tony Exum, we used to do concerts when we were kids, talent shows together. And look what he turned out to be. It was later on in life, but I'm sure if we would have had the proper mentors back then, he could have got probably even further than what he was in faster. You know what I'm saying? And then now, because like Jamon, all of them were talented back in the day. We all used to, you know, sing, dance together and stuff, and do talent shows and stuff. And it's just, I'm proud to see what they've turned out to be. I'm proud of all of them, you know, that I talked to, but they're great mentors. These are guys that can take those kids to different places and, hey, maybe you need to talk to him. They can start doing shows, charge them for their shows. That's what Brides by Tina does with the lingerie showcases. These are girls that we street model. They do street modeling a lot more up in Denver. But to turn it into something where they can make money off of it and not have people just using them, trying to have them do stuff for free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When we sell our tickets, I give them an opportunity to sell their tickets, pull out a table, bend, sell, whatever. I want them to be lifted up. You know, I lift my sisters up.
And so, so you still do the bride thing, right?
I still do Brides by Tina, but Brides by Tina is more into modeling. That's more like just bringing models to the team. It's going to grab your attention because we're going to start getting into creating short little mini films, like which will also involve acting and modeling and just being a videography, photography, just being in front of the stage all the time.
So what's one like bridal trend you just wish people would stop?
Well, what now?
Like a bridal trend that you just wish people would stop doing.
A bridal trend? Oh, I'll tell you a bridal trend I think they should start is do whatever the hell you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You want to do, right? That's what Brides by Tina, you can come in a red dress and I'm going to style you. And that's what we do with the photos. When you're like, where do you go with photos? Well, it's to inspire brides to come out and take sexy photos for their husband. You can give these to them for anniversary gifts or anything else. We can, I sell lingerie so I can bring like a whole wardrobe in, style you. And then these are like private pictures that you can share with your husband. Like this is stuff that they do in Texas. It's big in Texas, and I try to bring it here, but it's a little bit more conservative here. So really, I've had to bring a lot of my girls from Denver to here because that's where I really started modeling at, is in Denver. So
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies, for tuning in. We're about to go ahead and for joining me. But are we going back to music, Paul? And then we're going to get back real quick. We're just going to take a short break on this one. We'll be back here.
Your show, baby. You tell me what to do. I live to serve.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. But no, thank you guys for tuning in to Gnarly, and we're about to get into some randomness here real soon. So, yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's start off with a little bit of Concrete Blonde. Great song, Joey, right here on Gnarly101.com. We're out.
Okay. So how long I got?
How long you want? If we go to the next break, we've got, let's see here, 4, 8, about 15 minutes.
For the next break?
Yeah.
That's going to take a lot of time. Huh?
Yeah, we can jump in anytime you want.
Okay. Because I'd rather us be able to talk longer because I just want us to just flow now. And then we'll close it out with everyone talking about their events and what's coming up. But you didn't even talk about your event.
Oh yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Yikes! I should do that, huh?
And then I wanted to talk about when we were talking about how a lot of us has left the church and what we should do to get back to it, or should we go back to it, you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all all comfortable talking about stuff?
Yeah.
Well, even if you wasn't talking, no. I'd be like, you can leave the room. No. To make you uncomfortable.
Thanks for asking.
That's normally what I do, because like even at my house, I have like all kind of different religions, and I just tell people we got to pray. So you did touch the grease, dance to the side, and remove yourself, but either way it go, we got to pray with this food. So
I not believe in God. I just don't believe in religion because I studied history. That's where I got my degree in history. And so, you know, you're very educated with history. Just learning about all the different stages of that happened with colonization before Christ, after Christ, like just where religion comes from, where the Bible comes from, you know, because I was raised as Jehovah's Witness and that's all I was taught is the Bible. But then when you find out like the history behind it, the history behind religion, the history behind like violence and everything that happened like throughout history.
That's the problem with the world today.
Yeah.
They say Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat
It
it.
is.
But I hate that they're taking me with them. It's like, I know what happens here. I don't want to go there. No, it'll be different this time.
Yeah.
And it's not. That's the thing, like when we deal with religion, and so it's not to say people can do what they choose and have whatever they want to have as it pertains to that. But even if you go into the Bible and you look at God and his decision to send Jesus down here for our salvation, those who were so stuck in religion were the ones that condemned him to the cross. Now granted, it was necessary though, because without that, right, then there's no salvation. So that's the reason why he came. So he knew why he came, and he knew what he was doing, and he knew why he had to get there, regardless of how hard it was going to be. But it was the religion that put him there. You know what I'm saying? Like it was those who were religious
And
that
it was
put
very
him on
hateful.
the
Like
cross.
religion back in the day, if you think about it, it was very hateful.
It was.
anything that
It
came
was
out of love.
because it wasn't, and that's the part is that
Yeah.
it wasn't deemed in love. It was deemed in tradition. It was deemed in what we decide. Like, oh, this is the law of Moses. This is the law of this, and so this is what we have to follow. And it's not to say that those were things that weren't necessary. But if you also read in the Old Testament, and every time that God showed up, and there was laws that He told you that you were to abide by. And when you didn't, there was always a consequence. But then after the consequence, there was always grace. And so then that's when the grace showed up, and then it allowed for the cycle to continue, where He says, "Listen, I keep showing you that if you just stay
God
connected
is
to
in
me, that's
everybody.
it."
God is in
That's
everybody.
it.
When I
Stay
tell you that
connected
God
to me.
is in you, that's who God is. And God is that little, you know you ain't supposed to be doing this. You know you're supposed to be doing this. You know you ain't supposed to be, that's that conscience that God gave you, God in you. So that's what I say. I'm spiritual, but I don't believe in just man-made things. Like after you have to study that long and study nothing but history and do documentaries and papers and just write papers, and then you have to actually go to archive the records, because that's when you learn. I'm not just use the Bible to do this. You can't use the Bible as not the primary source, because it has so many puzzles missing from you. It can't be. And then if you look at the oldest Bible, the very oldest Bible was actually called the Book of the Dead. I had to do a report on it. And it was a book. It was a Bible that everybody would bury with them. They believed more in the afterlife and like reincarnation kind of stuff like that. So the oldest religion would be like the Islamic and a couple of more, but it's just once you follow out that you're like, really, the world was really created like it is. You study like the Enlightenment period, study that if you get a chance. Like there's another documentary I was begging people to study. It's Guns, Germs, and Steel. And that's going to tell you a great story about just how the world was created to be the way it is. And do you know that the information that you learn in colleges, if you don't go to college, and they created it that way so you don't get educated, but if you don't go to college and learn the real records, which is they keep them in their libraries, you can't get a hold of them unless you go to the universities. But once you realize the real records, then you just, your third eye becomes open, and you're like, wow, the world is just rigged to be like this. Yeah, if the people that don't go to college won't never learn history, and so you just kind of stay relying on what people tell you instead of actually researching this and doing the studies and taking parts and pieces and finding out people that were actually there when it happened. You know what I'm saying? Or not people that are talking about something that was never there, then it becomes gossip. If you're not there you can't, that's just like me, she said this happened over here. And this is what, I'm telling a story about somebody that told me a story, but it changes every time it gets to the next person.
Yep.
Now, if you tell a story and it's coming, I was right there and I seen it, and this is what happened, then that's a primary source.
It's a first-hand account.
Yeah.
I you were talking, I was remembering, I listened to a lot of different podcasts, and there was a lawsuit that came up from a specific tribe in India and West Africa about these people who lived through colonization and things that were happening where they made different tribes like enemies of each other to destroy each other, so that when England came, they could just reap all the gold, whatever the treasures were. But the people writing the history books were from England, and so the real records of what's actually happening there, the local newspapers had published it, what was happening during those times. England took all of those records and they have it in a library.
Well,
In England, and it's not released to the public.
Artifacts. So you can destroy those. So then now they're finding the artifacts everywhere, and they're like, you can't destroy a black face that was created like that. You know what I'm saying? Some of these artifacts that they try to change history around. Native Americans are very well known about their history. Those are some of the people that kept some of the most accurate records. Native Americans is their storytellers. They have storytellers in the tribe. I used to have a client that was from she was from North, I think the North Native American tribe. I forget what they were located at, but she would tell me some stories about like just stuff that happened back in the day, and like the reservations that they live, and like how the reservations can be, and just different things that happen throughout the history that have been changed around through his story.
Oh yeah, I think it's a hard thing. Like I wrestle with that a lot because my kids go to public school. So Thanksgiving comes around and they'll talk about, oh, you know about the Pilgrims. I'm like, that's a colonizer. And they'll go back to school, and their teacher's like, why you know that word? But like,
the real history.
and I have to tell you, like, what a pilgrim actually is. A pilgrim is someone who's seeking out, like, going on a spiritual journey, right? But if you go from there to here to kill, destroy all the, that's not, what kind of spiritual journey is that? That's evil, right?
Yeah.
So just teaching my kids, because my two older kids, we were foster parents of our two older kids, and we adopted them. They're white. So I know how it looks when I go out in public and I have kids. And if they go to school and they take what they're being taught as truth and don't learn full history in full, they can repeat that. They have the choice to make friends with whoever. They're their own people. But me as a parent, if I don't inform them on how to be a human who is compassionate and kind, those two things don't go together without being conscious of someone's personhood, where they come from, their history. So,
if people understood people's history, I would think it would be just less discrimination. If everybody studied history, then they would be less judgmental on everybody's culture, what they see, what happened throughout history.
yeah, and people are complicated too.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing, like, yeah. And I think that's a really hard thing. I was listening to something about Helen Keller, and she's seen as like, the patron saint of deaf and blind disabled people. But she struggled also with being perceived that way while she was alive. Like she didn't want to be seen less than or be accommodated to in a lot of different ways. So even having to contribute to like American Sign Language, she to a point was like forced into developing that with her mentors and people around her. And now she's heralded as like taking this disability. But in her own life she struggled with even wanting to identify. You know what I mean? So if you think about like, to your point, looking at written history and records, it's hard to know because we're all in the same room, but what we experience from our perspectives is all different.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We all get arrested.
Yeah.
A little bit of the same thing happening around history. It's just that documentary I was telling you was called Guns, Germs, and Steel. And it's three parts to it. I tell people that all the time. Just check that film out, and it'll help you understand how the world is created, like to keep the rich and the poor.
We're seeing it happen right now.
Oh, yeah, we definitely are.
Yeah.
I don't think people really like my husband. He works for the government right now as a VA. He's a nurse manager at the VA clinic. And you can ask anybody, everybody thinks military jobs, army jobs are so solid, right? Until DOGE or whoever decided we're going to cut jobs here and there. And just, I don't think people in our lives realize how much that is influencing our way of life. Until they're like, hey, you can't be getting fired, there's no way you're...
Until somebody directly next to you, like,
Exactly.
Dad's already here, so he'll be coming in at 3, so probably a little bit before there, so it's
Exactly.
You could do 250,
So people who don't
255,
understand
just so he's got
how
like 5
that
minutes to get on
really
here to
impact
set up his first
because of the
setups.
classes and learnings.
I just don't want this on the floor.
You don't understand how it
Yeah.
really works out in the
Like,
group at all.
just give him 3 to 5 minutes. He's quick and good. Yeah, don't even get me started about that crap in Washington. Freaking Elon Musk. It's like, why doesn't somebody deport him?
Isn't it funny that the people who have so much to say about immigration?
Yeah.
Ivanka is an immigrant.
Thank you.
Like, I mean, technically, you go back a couple generations everyone's here because of immigration.
We're all immigrants here, unless you're full-blood Native American. We're immigrants. That's what built this country. I don't know why these people hate other people so much. And
Why can't we just be human?
yeah, there's this thing. There's a song Pink Floyd did. It's called "Dogs of War," and it explains a lot. And they say, how does that go? Dogs of war and men of hate. For no cause they discriminate, and it's all true. It's like I don't know what's wrong with people. They're just
Yeah, one
So
minute,
when you
child.
look at, it's 14 different type of human beings that walk this earth. 14 different type of human beings that have walked this earth. So don't think everybody's the same.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
that's all.
everybody ain't the same. You see some people kind of thrown off. People like,
I don't want everybody to be the same. It's always like well, I always tell people, be yourself. Everybody else is already taken.
exactly. Right.
Okay, I'm going to wind it down in about 15 seconds.
We're about to be on in 30.
Oh no. This is a step.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't want to say anything. I think the hard, like, within my own family, it's hard to discuss these things because Filipinos idolize American life so much.
It's okay, mics are hot.
Yeah. So what are they come? What they understand to come out here, make the money, and go back home with it.
Yeah.
A little bit of Stevie Nicks there. Belladonna off of the album by the same name, and that was a huge album for her. Thanks for tuning in here, Gnarly101.com, and it's 80s Babies, and there's only one baby here today, so it should be 80 Baby.
Yeah, 80 baby.
80 Baby.
Y'all still call me baby, one grown woman, but maybe 80 ladies, but that's 80. We gonna roll with it. We gonna roll with it. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to Gnarly 101. We have Minister Jaquel with us. We have Chef Katie and Miss Tina with Rise by Tina with us today. But I really, Minister Jaquel, me and you, we've known each other for a while. I confide in you about a lot of things. And I was confiding in you about something about a week ago, and I was like, let's talk about that on the radio. And it's a lot of us that have been, we don't want to go to church because we've been hurt by the church. We've been hurt by the people in the church. And could you share with me, like, basically what you told me when I was like, because, you know, I do want to go to church, but it's so hard, just like finding a therapist, find anything else that fits for you, find the right church home for you. And then my thing was, for me, if I can't bring, like, the roughest person off of the street to your church, that's not the church for me. Because we're supposed to be able to accept people, I thought, as they were. So what did you tell me that I felt that the world should know, or even if it's for that one person to know, why we should be trying to get back in the church and build that relationship?
So here's what I would say. As a minister and somebody who has a relationship with God, one of the things that you have to make sure that is clear and that you understand is that, yes, the church has made mistakes, right? Because the church is filled with human beings, which means that some of the things that we might have done, some of the things that we might have said may not have always gone the direction that it was intended to go. The thing is that, like, even like when you look back in the Bible in the very beginning, when you talk about the Pharisees and all of that, their intentions, they thought were good. They thought they were following the law of Moses. They thought they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. But the reality is that when Jesus came, they couldn't even recognize who he was when he got there because they were following the wrong thing, or the tradition the wrong way. Let's say it that way. They're following it the wrong way. So then in church now, what you have is a lot of churches who have gotten to this place of following tradition and have lack of some relationship. And I'm not saying this is every church, and I'm not saying this is everybody, but I'm saying there was a mistake that was made. And so because of that, I have to say that, right, before we get into the conversation about people not wanting to get church and have separated and, like, wanting to come back. Yes, you should come back. Why should you come back? Because even though that has happened, right, the Bible specifically tells us that you need to be around like-minded people. The Bible specifically tells you that when you gather 2 or 3 together in his name, that's when things come, when things change, and he's in the midst, right? So that tells you that there's a need for you to be around people that have relationship with God. right? And so when you go to church, this was also established in the Bible too. He told them, go build these churches on purpose, because he needed a place for people to come, for people to heal, for people to have connection with others that were also struggling in the same way, so that they could communicate with each other, so they could talk, so they could build, and so that their common denominator was God, right? And so that's why that's necessary. The thing that we specifically talked about the other week was me saying this. People talk about, well, there's church hurt. Somebody hurt me in church. They did. They probably did. Somebody hurt me in church. I can tell you that for a fact. I had a child out of wedlock. Right, and I came and I was in church. That everybody don't look at you the same. You know, when you come in there, you was pregnant and stuff like that. So you might have had church hurt, but you weren't there for them anyway. You were there for God. And the other piece to that is that you've also been hurt at work. You've also been hurt in your family. You've also been hurt in other environments, but you don't stop going to work. And you don't stop wanting to be a part of your family. You still want to try to figure out, how do I make connections with my family? How do I do this? Like, how do I make this right? And you want to do that because the connection to them matters, right? And so the connection, whether it's to the paycheck or to the success at your job, that matters enough that it requires you to still go. So then why is it that when it comes to church, we've decided that we got this church hurt, that we can't go to church anymore, but every other place that we've been hurt, we've said, it's okay and I'll still come. Right? And so when it comes to church, what I'm saying, and this is not to condemn anybody, because I've been through my stages of like grief and struggle, and like, I don't want to do this and I don't want to be here. So I'm not saying this as if I'm speaking like I have not dealt with this myself and like different things that might have gotten me to that place of feeling, right? But what's made the difference is that I reminded myself who I was connected to, right? Like there's this, if you look like when we have our cell phones, and like, you know how when your connection is going down the bars, you get less and less bars because you're not next to the tower that you need to be so that you stay connected and so your phone works appropriately. That's the same for us, right? The more separated we get from our connection to God, the harder it is for us to continue to move, right? The way that He wants us to move. And so then you start having anxiety, and you start having depression, and you start dealing with all these things because who you were supposed to be connected to, that separation has gotten so big that now you're not functioning the way you were meant to function. Right? And so that's why when I say, yes, I think you should get back, I also think you need to find the place that you belong. So just like when I was mentioning all the churches that I'm connected to, doesn't mean that that's the church you need to go to. I'm just telling you that as a starting point, if you'd like to go somewhere because you heard somebody and it's a familiar voice, so I'm going to try this, right? But the closer you get to God and that connection that you have, that's going to help dictate where you belong. Because you'll walk in and He'll be like, and He'll tell you it's not it. And you'll know that, and you'll be like, all right, I'll try somewhere else. But it doesn't mean that after time 1 and 2 that I go in and it wasn't right, that I'm like, I'm done with this, because we wouldn't do that anywhere else. We would push, right? And so my thought is just make sure that you stay connected. Relationship is the bigger part of this with God, and God then leads the rest of that stuff. So the more you stay connected to Him, the easier it is to decide and to discern where you're supposed to be. If you walk in somewhere and they're not showing you that you're welcome because of how you look, you dress, or you talk, then it probably isn't the place for you. But guess what? You going though might have been the thing that changes their perspective and how they choose then to operate after that. Because now they're able to see, well, dang, well, what did we do that was so wrong? Because some of them don't even know how wrong they might be.
It's true. That's true.
And so you walking in the door changes that.
You can tell this girl belongs up there at the pulpit.
Okay, so like, cause me and Tina were talking about it too, and you know, I come from a native Muslim Christian background. Like, literally grew up with all 3 of them.
Yeah.
All 3 of them, and we were talking about how we kind of lost our religion with it, but we're spiritual. So what would you say for the people that's kind of, because you got people be like, well, I don't believe in God, you know, I don't want to call Him God, but I believe in a higher power. Like, what advice can you give those people that even if they do believe in a higher power, but they think God could be their higher power, what advice do you have for them? Or even if you don't have advice, how do we keep them still seeking for their purpose in that higher power until they find it?
So what I would say is this. The Bible specifically tells us that we were made in the image of God. So if you're going to have a higher power, and then you say, but I don't necessarily believe that it's God, recognize that that's who you were made to look like. That's who you were made to be like, was God. And so if there's somebody else or there's something else that you're looking to, That's where some of the struggle comes in at, because we're trying to depict and we're trying to look like and we're trying to be like somebody who we were never meant to be, because God said, I created you in my image. And so if you're struggling with even identity or who you are or what's my place or how do I become successful or what am I connected, like why are my connections not looking like they're supposed to look? Well, then just remember whose image you were made in. And then if you start there, right, and then start building that relationship with who you were created to look like, he will start ordering all of that other stuff. He'll start fixing all of those other things. But we try to take charge of a lot of stuff that we were never meant to be in charge of. And that's a part of our issue, is that we want to be in control. We want to act like we got figured out. And he told us you never did and you never will. And just because you believe in me doesn't mean life is easy either, because he literally tells us that his grace is sufficient. And the reason he has to tell us that is because we will suffer. We will not always do things right. We will make mistakes, and we are going to be people that need him. And so he said, my grace is sufficient. And he said it because he intends for us to be in right relationship with him. He intends for us to carry on the image that he put inside of us. But that's a choice. And that's the good thing about God. And like, while we can say it's good or bad, the good thing about God is that he gives us a choice. And so you get to decide.
Free will spirit.
Free will. And you get to decide. And while, and I say it's a good and a bad thing, because it's really good. Like, you get to choose. So there's nobody to blame, right? Because you make your choice. But I would say, start with who created me. And if God created you, he created you in his image. So if we're not walking in that, that's what makes things a little bit hard, right? Peace comes when we're walking in that. Even when everything around us is hard, even when it doesn't make sense, he says he'll give you a peace that surpasses all understanding. Not something we can create ourselves, not something that we can do on our own. He gives it to us. It's a gift he'll give you if you just do with it what he's asking you to do. So obedience, walking in his image the way that he created you to be. And that's, I think, where you start, and then create your relationship and seek it for yourself and not based off of something somebody told you.
And he tells you to seek him, and you're going to find him if you seek him. But I see you have your Bible open over there. Was there something you wanted to share with us while we had you?
You know, it was just depending on what direction that you went in, because I didn't know where we was going to talk.
Oh,
so I just wanted to make sure.
Because I had another one for you. I was
Go
like,
ahead.
so what's your go-to scripture when someone's testing your patience, but you're trying to stay safe?
Listen, I can't even take you to scripture. I take you to go to a book, and it's the book of James. And it's funny that you say that, because I've literally been talking to my brother. I said, "Boy, I've been in James. I've been in James. I've been in James." And the reason why I go to James, it's in the New Testament. When you go into James, he's specific. He's laying it out there. He's not sugarcoating anything. He's literally telling you what your requirements are. And so just because somebody came to you talking a certain way, or you don't feel like they addressed you appropriately, or all those things, and maybe that's true, right? But we sometimes feel like those things are true, and then we're justified to respond and act a certain way based off of what somebody else did. Oh, James lets you know you're not justified, right? And so I go to James all the time to check myself, because I'm not justified in doing anything other than what God told me to do, which is to love my neighbor. He also said, if they slap you on one, you turn the other cheek, right? It doesn't stop there, because when he tells you to turn the other cheek, he's not telling you to turn the other cheek and walk away. He's telling you to turn the other cheek and give it to him, right? Because this is him showing, like, again, grace. It's showing God's image. It's showing, do what it is that I tell you to do, because that might be the one thing that changed and altered somebody's thought process about me, about God, about whoever that is, that that it shows God's glory is essentially what it is. But we stop that with sometimes when we decide that we're justified. And so I go to James, because James will put me in check real quick, because he'll be like, you better humble yourself. You're not too righteous. Just because somebody made this mistake doesn't mean tomorrow you won't be the one, right? And so, because of that, it always puts me in a place to remind myself of who I am, whose I am, and what I was here to do. And so then I'm like, all right, you're not justified. You go get your life together and get yourself some act.
So I talk to God like I talk to y'all. And I had this one moment when I was going through. I said, you said turn the other cheek. Okay, I got two faces. Am I supposed to bend over and let them slap the booty cheeks too? I don't understand this, God. I really was. I was like, so did that include booty cheeks? Because I'm just not understanding. it because you know how sometimes life it feel like life will slap you back and forth like all the cheeks. So yeah, well, thank you for real. I was asking, you don't get clarity until but I know Miss Tina has to leave here soon, and so Tina, Brian, thanks for coming to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your knowledge and your teaching us. You have your Build a Barbie coming up, correct? Would you like to tell us when that is, how to find us, find you and everything?
Go on Facebook, follow Hills Mentoring for Women and Girls. At that, you will find the Eventbrite right at the top. You can purchase online if you like. I would suggest to get it soon because they already have their clients. They sent them out to a lot of people. So get your tickets if it's something that you want to do. It's only 30 seats available. Follow Brides by Tina, Facebook, Lashes by Tina, Facebook and Instagram, both of those.
Cool. And thank you for stopping in and joining us. But when you're building a Barbie, you have your starter kit. What are the top 3 accessories that your boss Barbie needs?
Okay,
your boss Barbie, not nobody else. Yours.
My boss body is, but that's head to toe. You know me, I don't play.
Head to toe. So and that's what we're doing with the Barbies too. So it's not just it's also a class to teach these girls how to sew. So we're going to make clothes the first time, show them how to make Barbie clothes. And the next class will be cheaper because they'll already have their Barbies. I'm going to teach them how to make lace front wigs for their Barbies and then paint the eyes and the face and the nose. And then, so it's kind of like learning how to do makeup, hair, and wardrobe, really, because that's what I do.
Okay, well, cool. Go on the Brides by Tina. You go find her page, and you can follow all her events on there. And thank you for joining us. But we're going to get to Katie because I know you said you had to leave. She got back to mommy's duties. Thank you.
Thanks so much. That's why my card's there.
Okay, and then we got Chef Katie. So Katie, you got a little bit more time, and we can go ahead and close out with the show.
Get some of your food.
So,
Do it.
you bought a couple snacks in here for us. Did you want to
Sorry.
So these are made by what? Because I always say it wrong.
Ba.
Own. Okay.
So ba like the sound that sheet makes, and own like something that belongs to you. Ba own.
Ba own. Okay.
There you go.
And so what do you have for us today? And then don't forget to go to the camera over there.
Oh yeah, hi. Yeah, see my backside here. Hold on. So today I brought in some snacks. Some made, some I purchased them from Asian Pacific Market because they have shots.
We don't judge.
Listen, they have headshots of everybody who did the 5-finger discount and walked out over there, and I don't want my picture up there. I paid for all this. Okay. So today I brought in some goodies that I made that are vegan. So this is some achara, which is Filipino-style pickles. The word achar in Hindi actually means 2 pickles. So this has green papaya, onions, and bell pepper. This is some yellow curry or adobong dilaw, chicken, not chicken, this is vegan, chickpea curry. So chickpea curry with coconut milk and vinegar, some bell peppers, and turmeric. And then this is some edamame hummus with I have some jicama sticks that I cut up here, some vegan chocolate brownies with venture coffee that's from the Philippines. And then I have some snacks. These are commonplace in my house. Like these don't stay in the cupboard when I was a kid. These get eat up real fast. But these are like bar snacks, which are called like pulutan. So usually you have a beer, you have a little of this on the side. These are adobo flavored peanuts. And then boy bawang. Bawang means garlic. So this is garlic chicken flavored corn nuts, basically.
Chicken flavored corn nuts.
Yeah. And then this is some shrimp chips, some crunchy. These I'm so addicted to.
Oh, I don't know.
There's a line in the sand on these.
No.
You gotta try one.
Okay.
There's no pork because I know you don't do pork, so I got.
No, I eat bacon now.
Oh, okay.
And I eat a slab of ribs, but I'm not just supposed to eat it all the time. But
I hear you. Me either.
Those are my 2.
If Diamond's listening, bacon. I don't either. I don't eat ribs or bacon every day.
Oh, okay.
All the time. I'm staying on, Coach. So this is Kopiko, which is an instant coffee that's very popular in the Philippines.
Okay.
That your pandesal, if you bought it in the Philippines, you did it in this.
Oh, okay.
But this is the hard candy version.
Okay.
Yeah, it gives you coffee breath, which isn't really refreshing to others. But uplifting to yourself. So those are a few things there.
Okay.
Some snackage.
Well, thank you, and we're gonna taste them.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna taste them. You said
Hey,
you're gonna force me to taste them, so yeah, we're gonna do that. But you have an event coming up, correct?
Yes, I have a few. I'm grabbing mine. I have the next event that I have coming up is on the 21st. And that will be at Cocktails After Dusk, which is, I think, 8 East Bijou. So if everybody in College Springs, if you've been here for a while, it used to be Pita Pit, but then now it's Salad or Bust during the day, and at night it's called Cocktails After Dusk.
Okay.
Tim and Anastasio are really well known, great cocktail artists, bartenders here in the Springs. They own that spot, so in the evenings they throw fun events like bar fights. So they have bartenders from the city come in and duel it out on these cocktails. So they make cocktails and they compete, and there's tasters and everything. So the 21st, I'll be serving up some bar-friendly Filipino food, some lumpia, beef lumpia. I have some Filipino-style elote, and then some coconut donuts.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
that's some little snacky stuff. If you're coming for a full meal, like you want that 5-course immersive experience talking about the history of the food, the culture, the next big one is going to be May 3rd, and it's going to be at the Kamayan Hideaway, right in the heart of Southeast and Satellite Hotel with Chef Leah Mohammed. She's got a beautiful restaurant space there.
Yes,
and,
she does.
Yeah, and we're going to celebrate the end of Mile High Asian Food Week, so shout out to Mile High Asian Food Week. We got accepted into that this year, and so that's a big win for us. Thank you. We're so excited about that, and so to celebrate that here in our city, that's a big deal because Mile High Asian Food Week is celebrated in Denver. A lot of restaurants that I love in Denver are being featured, but we're trying to bring it here to the Springs and let people know who lives in the Springs. It's a bunch of Filipinos and people who love Filipino food. So May 3rd, 6 p.m., hit me up on my socials. If you have any questions, you have allergies, let me know so I can cook special for you. Yeah,
because I think me and Trey paid like what? What did we pay that day? We paid like $200, and I forgot to tell you we was allergic to pork, so half the stuff they had. But we supported her. That's what we were there for.
But that's what
we still let her.
Listen, that's why I love you. Well, listen, so the next time you come out to my dinner, you're going to have a little extra stuff that's pork-free. Okay?
Yeah.
Everyone
And she was like, you supposed to, that's an allergy. I was like, well, I didn't think about it, because they were serving pork chops that day. And I was like, great. No. But it's amazing food. I love her food. I love that bread. I love that bread. No. Hey, y'all should just contact her and be like, whatever bread Nikki talking about, I need the bread so I can say it like she do. And the green stuff.
We have to be specific about the green stuff because I know you, and that might mean something else.
Oh, not wheat. Not marijuana. Just
green
like the
butter.
Green butter. Say
Okay,
the green butter. Well, that could. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we know where this is
It's
going.
a
But
different
thank you. And so I got a question for you. So as a chef, like, what's one meal that you just will not prepare again because like it traumatized you?
Ooh-wee. Okay, let me think. So it's really hard, but there's a dish called trotters, which is pig's feet that's stuffed with sausage and other aromatics, and it's delicious. It's
Aromatics.
Not them kind of aromatics. Let's just talk about the food. So you take the bones out of the pig's foot, and you cut it down so that you can put basically things that you put in a sausage, you put in this pig's foot, and you sew it back up, and you roast it slow. It's a delicious dish, and I love pig's feet, but it takes a lot of cleaning and work to get it done right.
Oh no, that doesn't sound like anything.
Well, it won't be on your dish.
No, it will not. Well, I thank you, ladies, for joining us. We're about to close it down. So when we, is there anything that you want your listeners to know, like any vital information that you would like people to walk away with, Minister?
Oh, I would just say this. If you get nothing else from this conversation or any that you might have with somebody as it pertains to a conversation with God, is just remember who you are and who made you. If you start there with God creating you in His image, that right there tells you that you're more than enough and worthy of all of the things that He has designed for you to receive. And so walk in that and continue to seek Him through that process. And if you don't know how, find somebody who can help you do it. Because that will make all the difference in what your life looks like and what your connections look like and how you move and what success to a certain extent looks like. Because success worldly is one thing. Success individually, when you know who you are, is completely different. And so just know that. Like, you are worthy of everything that God has designed for you. You just need to tap in.
And where can they find you again?
Again, Jaquel Brooks-Richardson is my name on Facebook. But then the churches are 1312 UNT in Denver, that's Greater St. John, where Pastor John W. Richardson is the pastor, and First Lady Dana is there. And then St. John Baptist Church, 902 South Prospect in Colorado Springs. John W. Richardson again is the pastor there as well. And then 3939 Redwood Lane, Word of Faith Christian Center in Pueblo, Colorado. That's at 3:30 in the afternoon, 12 o'clock in Colorado Springs, and 9:30 in the morning in Denver. So wherever you are, there's a spot up the I-25 corridor.
And Chef Katie, what's your last closing words and how people can find you?
My last closing words is find some time to share a table and eat good food. And the people can find me, just hit me up on Facebook at Baum Supper Club, BAON space SUPPER space CLUB. You'll find me there, and all my my ticket sales and things are there if you want to hit me up. And if you need a private event, you don't want to wash dishes, you don't want to cook, call me.
Thank you. And thank you to Miss Tina with Brides by Tina.
Yes,
you can find her online as well. And I would like to thank everyone for coming in. If you are looking for churches to go to, don't forget, maybe just pull up to the nearest one. But Coach Minister gave you 3 churches to go to between Denver, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. And then Katie, you don't want to cook, get with her. And then to tap into your creative side, contact Miss Tina. I thank everyone for tuning in. We have Big Land coming up. Also, thank you for my study Bible. We really didn't get to talk about it because my Bible messed up and she bought me a Bible, so I really appreciate it. So I'm grateful for that, and she's leaving me a message. But we like to thank everyone for tuning in to Naughty 101. Thank Paul for sitting in with me today. I appreciate that. And what we got coming up, Paul? Everyone have a good week. And we out of here.
We out of here. But don't you leave, because we've got Big Len with Gnarly Grooves coming up, the very best R&B of the 80s. And so keep it right here on gnarly101.com. Everybody have a great day. Have a good week. We'll catch you next weekend.
Bye.
We're out.
Do y'all mind signing my boards?
Oh, I will. My hand goes. I don't know if any of you want to take any of these home. Well, I'll keep these though.
Where's the Lenmeister? Where's the Lenmeister?
What up, Big Lynn?
What's up?
How are you doing,
Good,
sir?
you?
Good.
See, and that was nice. I gave you the whole place to yourself. It was
What?
5 minutes left.
Your sheet is still warm.
It's because you farted on it.